I was 17 when this happened. During my senior year of high school, our school was old nearly a century with renovations stacked on top of each other like geological layers. The newest addition was the sublab, a converted storage area to floors below ground, where the engineering and robotics electives were held. It was always freezing down there. The lights flickered even on good days, and the long hall had only one exit, the metal stairwell leading back up. People joked that if anything bad ever happened at school, whoever was in the sublab would be the last to know. One rainy Thursday, during 6th period, our robotics teacher gave us a practical test. I finished early and asked to go to the bathroom. The sublab bathroom was down a narrow side corridor. No one liked using, because the motion-activated lights took forever to turn on. I walked down the hall, waited for the sensors to buzz on, and stepped inside. A minute later, my friend Marcus texted me, "Bro, lockdown." I frowned. See, I hadn't heard any announcement. Of course, we wouldn't down in the sublab. I texted back asking if it was a drill. "No, not a drill. Teacher said someone's in the building." My heart started pounding. I peeked into the hallway. The lights were off, completely off, not dim black, the kind of black where you can't see the walls. The automatic lights always stayed on during drills. My teacher must have already locked the classroom door. Assuming I'd gone upstairs to the main floor bathroom, I was stuck alone. I started walking toward the stairwell, using my phone flashlight. Every step echoed way too loudly in that narrow space. I kept telling myself that whoever triggered the lockdown was probably far away from this floor, that the police would handle it, and that everything was fine. Then I heard footsteps, so empty, coming from the stairwell above me. I ducked into the old storage alcove on the side of the hallway and killed my light. The footsteps reached the landing. They weren't rushed like someone panicking. They were steady, deliberate. A faint scraping sound followed, like metal dragging across concrete. Then a voice. A man's voice, low and breathy. "Anybody down here?" He wasn't calling for help. He wasn't confused. He was searching. I stayed completely still, barely breathing. The footsteps came down the stairs. I could hear him muttering to himself, too quiet to make out words. He reached the bottom and the motion detector clicked, but the light didn't turn on. That meant he'd manually shut off the breaker. I slowly crouched lower behind the old mop buckets and broken desks. My phone vibrated in my hand. Marcus again. "Swashington, tea is coming. Don't move." I swallowed hard and silenced the phone. The man walked past the alcove, close enough that I smelled damp clothes and old cigarette smoke. He was dragging something metallic along the wall. A tool, a weapon. I couldn't see anything in the dark. He stopped just outside the alcove. My chest tightened. He hadn't seen me. Had he heard me? Then, very suddenly, he whispered, "I know you're here." I bit my tongue to keep from screaming. The scraping metal hit the wall again, harder this time. He took one more step and the loudest crack I've ever heard echoed down the hall. A door somewhere slammed open upstairs. Shouts, heavy boots. The man bolted. I heard him turn and sprint toward the far end of the hall. Men were yelling orders from the stairwell police. They came pouring down, light slicing through the dark like blades. I crawled out, shaking uncontrollably. Two officers grabbed my arms and pulled me back behind them while others charged into the basement hall. There was a struggle somewhere out of sight, more shouting, and another deafening metallic crash. Someone screamed at me, not an officer's, but the man. Minutes later, they escorted him out in handcuffs. His clothes were soaked from the rain, his face pale, wild-eyed, and emotionless. He looked at me as they dragged him past, lips forming a smile that didn't match his eyes. One officer quietly told me he had broken into the school through a maintenance door and disabled the power to the basement spaces. They found a crowbar and a hunting knife on him. When the lockdown finally ended and they let us go home, I walked past the sublab stairwell again. Something glinted on the step where I'd first heard him. It was a brass key, old, bent. Later the police said it didn't belong to the school, and the man refused to explain where he got it or what door it was meant to open. To this day, the sublab hallway lights still flicker. They told us it's just old wiring. But whenever I walk by the sublevel entrance, I swear I hear metal scraping across concrete slow and steady like someone still searching in the dark.